Hello everyone, welcome back. In this Planet Zoo tutorial, we're gonna cover exhibits. How you can place them, how you can set them up so your animals are comfortable there and have everything they need. So let's begin. This is the vanilla exhibit, like the basic exhibit that you can place. You can find this in the Facilities tab. And from there, if you have all selected, you can filter this by exhibit here in the filter. You will see some blueprints and you will also see like these basic exhibits. If you don't want the blueprints, you can just turn them off by clicking here on blueprints, blueprints off. You will have different types of exhibits. You have exhibits and walkthrough exhibits. Right now we're going to work with the exhibits, and I will have another tutorial for the walkthrough exhibits, which are a little bit different. But basically, when you click on this and you place it down, you will have one of these little boxes over here, just like we had one over here. But right now they are empty, right? If you check them out, they are completely empty. If you click on them, you can get some animals for your exhibits and start setting them up. First of all, you can customize their colors. You have two different color channels that you can customize. Light color, for example, purple, or, well, it should be light, so let's click on green here, and a dark color, let's choose purple. So this is basically the main outer shell, the second color channel. So let's choose one a little bit like a blue, a bright blue here. And the green one is not immediately obvious. So we have two options here. We can view the exhibit animal market, or we can request an exhibit animal. So I'm going to view the exhibit animal market. Here we are taken to the exhibit trading. You can also click over here, exhibit trading. Those are like three options to get to exactly the same place. If you reset all the filters that you previously wrote, you will see all the exhibit animals that you can get for your zoo. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to choose, let's say, the Eastern Blue-tongued lizard. So I'm going to adopt two of them, a male and a female over here. And that will bring these animals over to the exhibit animal storage. You can see that I already have a few animals in the animal storage, but I can find these two ones that are new. So I'm going to select them by clicking on this checkbox. And then I'm going to send both of them to my zoo. I can also click on quick trade if I made a mistake and I just want to get the resources back. So once I click on send to zoo, I have the option to place them in an exhibit. I just need to go to that exhibit and click on it. Let's say that we want to put both of them over here. Immediately you will notice that it may have some issues because you have to do some setup work after that. First of all, the exhibit has no power. Exhibits need power. If you're playing on Sandbox, you can turn this off, but I have this enabled, so I'm going to get some utilities here. So I have to remove all the filters, and I'm going to get a solar panel which doesn't have any negative effect on the guests. This will cover basically everything that the exhibits need, at least at the moment for this tutorial. Now we see that the exhibit is operational. We can also close it if we want to, manually, like this. This will just close all the windows. For now, we're going to keep it operational. And then we see all the information of the exhibit. The exhibit has severe welfare issues right now. Why? We see that the nutrition is correct, the social health is correct, because we also need to consider the needs of the animals that we are placing here. We can check that in the Zoopedia. But the issues are here in the exhibit category. Why? Because the layout is only partially providing enrichment features, and the humidity is too high. How can we change this? Well, I'm going to pause this so our little animals don't continue suffering anymore. We have to fix these two issues, the humidity and the layout. For the humidity, you just need to go here to the Climate tab. Here you will find the current temperature and the humidity. Where you see this little like white block or white rectangle over here, that is the humidity range that the animal that is currently in the exhibit will tolerate. Like, you can have a range between 50 and 60% of humidity. How can you adjust this? You just adjust the slider over here, the humidity slider, to that value between 50 and 60. So that would be something like 55. I usually like to keep it like over here in the middle of that range. You can also set it right here by writing the value, but I usually like to use the slider. It feels nicer, at least for me. Then for the temperature, you see that they tolerate a range between 25 and 35 degrees, and currently we are at 32. So that's basically what they need. Sometimes you may need to adjust this based on the animal that you're placing. Then if we unpause this, you will see that the humidity starts to go down until it reaches the value that we set over here, and it's now at an appropriate range for the eastern blue-tongued lizard. Awesome, so now the humidity is okay. We have it at 100%, and we just need to add more enrichment features for the layout. For that, we need to go here to the Layout tab. The layout is currently at 40%, so we can improve that by adding these enrichment items. We have a few rocks, a few lamps, and a few branches that we can add. Since we are in Sandbox, they are all unlocked. I think in Franchise or other game modes, you will have them locked and you will have to research them. I think. I mostly play on Sandbox. So here we can add all of these items. You don't have to add them all if you don't want to, but if we add them all, you will see that the score increases quite a lot to 100% over here. After we take care of all of this and we make sure that our animals are well taken care of, we can also start checking out other features of the exhibit. Like the nutrition, we can see that the animals are fed and they are not thirsty. They have a nice social group, and I'm gonna show you how you can check these needs. So when you place the animal, they will have some requirements for their social group. Like sometimes you can't have more than 2 of them or more than 5 of them, or you can have a specific number of males and females. To check that, you just click here, go to the Zoopedia, this icon over here, and that will open the Zoopedia for the animal that you're placing. And you can check their social group needs over here in species data. The group size, excluding juveniles, will tell you how many you can have, 1 to 2. Here we are placing 2, so we are okay. This is something that you should always keep in mind, and some of them will tell you how many females or males you can have in the same exhibit at the same time. You can also find fun facts which are really interesting to read in the Zoopedia. So once you check that and you have the social group needs already covered, you can also see guest thoughts over here of people who have seen these animals and learned from the education that you are providing. You also have the scenery rating, which is like the decoration around the exhibit. Here in the animals tab, you can see the species that are currently in the exhibit. You can also see individual animals. Like here, if you want to check on Harper's needs, you can click on that little pen icon and you will go to this animal. You can see that it's been highlighted over here. Awesome. So now if you click again on the exhibit and you go back to the animals tab, you can check the current age of each one of these animals, their gender, and how many females and males you have. You can see that there are visitors checking out the exhibit. Awesome. You can also click here to view the exhibit animal market if you want to get more animals or request exhibit animal. We have the layout tab, which we already checked, the climate tab, which are like the 2 most important ones. You can also customize the exhibit. Let me show you how you can do this. Right now, the exhibit has all 4 windows open, but if you want to close either one of them, you can close them. This is really nice if you want to create a specific layout with more than one exhibit. Like over here in the blueprint, you can see that we have 4 exhibits, but they are all like back to back. They are all really close together, so you can close those windows and avoid seeing through the glass. If you don't close these windows, you will see through the glass to the other exhibit. So you can change that by clicking on this close option. So let me close the window here on the back. Sometimes you will have to try to see which one is which. This is window 4. We're gonna close it and we're gonna choose a specific facade. You can choose a 2D facade, which is usually appropriate for the environment or the habitat where the animal lives. Here we have something like a desert. And you can also choose a 3D facade, which is, I think, more like natural and realistic looking. So I really love this one, the 3D facade, if it is available. You can also click here to change it to a different facade, which is not like completely related to the habitat. Here we have like rainforest and semi-aquatic, but it's really up to you. And you can also click here if you want to add your own images and videos. You just need to store them in Documents, Frontier Developments, Planet Zoo User Media. And there you can choose the image that you want to use as your facade. And here you will find your favorites. You can mark them as favorites by clicking here on this little heart icon, and you will see them over here, just to save you some time. You can do that for all the windows. So I'm going to click on 3D facade, and you have to confirm that by clicking here on OK. Now we have that window closed, and you can do exactly the same with the other windows. Let's close this one, and we have a 3D facade, and you can see how it's already starting to look a lot nicer. And then we have here the log. The log tab will show you the finances of this particular exhibit, including the power cost. In this case, it's renewable, so we have 0 at this moment last year, but you will see a breakdown of the power cost and other costs associated to the exhibit. The maintenance is super important. Super important. We have the different staff that are assigned over here. Right now we have no keepers assigned because we just placed the exhibit. So we have to assign this one to a work zone. We can either learn more about work zones or create a new work zone. We can also check the time since the last visit. Right now it's 0 months because we just placed it. And we can set up the routine visit every month, every 3 months, every 6 months, every 9 months, or every year, or every 2 years. I think these ones are a little bit too much, and this one is like really neglecting the animals if you choose never, so please never choose never. So we're gonna add it to a work zone. What? How can we add it to the work zone? Well, we go to the Zoo tab, then we go to the Staff tab, and there we can see work zones. If you already have a work zone created, you can go to that work zone. Here I have a work zone with the name All that includes all the buildings and habitats that I currently have. I edit the work zone, and then I go to that particular exhibit. Right now it's in red because it's not part of any work zone. I click on it, and now since it's green, it's in this work zone. Really nice, right? If I want to create a new work zone, I just click here on New Work Zone, and I can set it up and choose the exhibits. That is the topic of another tutorial, creating work zones. But basically, you will just customize the name, and we add it to the work zone, like this. Maybe we need to add the power generator to these 2 exhibits, and this one over here. And there we go, we have a work zone. Really nice. So now if we check the exhibit and we check the maintenance tab, we do see that it's assigned to all to this work zone and to work zone 5, which we just created. We may need to rename this one exhibits. Yeah. So now it's the exhibits work zone. Awesome. This is the maintenance tab, and finally we see the management tab. Management is very important, especially for species that reproduce really rapidly. So we can choose the exhibits, the species that we have in the exhibit, and we can turn manage population on or off. If we turn it on, the animals that exceed the specified population, we can set a specific population here below, they will be managed automatically. You can manage them by storing them in the trade center, by selling them for cash, or by releasing them to the wild. And you can set the priority. Which ones do you want to sell or release first? By age, by appeal, by cash, or by conservation credits. And set the order, like the highest or the lowest first, for both males and females. And over here, the most important number that you can set here is the maximum. Max males and max females. You can increase this number by using the arrows or decrease it. It's really up to you, but you should still be aware of the animal's needs based on the Zoopedia. And you can also set some exemptions if you don't want a particular animal to be traded or released. So you can just check them and they will be exempted from this population control. And finally, let's check out these options over here at the bottom because we already covered the main tabs. We have the exhibit camera, the Zoopedia, which will take you to the species that is currently housed in the exhibit, the building over here, which will take you to the group that the exhibit belongs to if you want to customize it, because you can decorate it as much as you like around the little box. This one will move the exhibit, duplicate it, or demolish it. Now let's talk about the exhibit camera, which is one of the greatest features, in my opinion. Really nice. Once you click on the exhibit camera, you will be taken to a different layout or a different placement of the camera where you can see the animals and their animations. Really nice, right? If you want to hide the user interface, you can press the G key. That will hide the user interface, like this. I'm toggling it with the G key. And then you can choose if you want the orbit camera or the interior camera. The interior camera is a little bit different, like it's placed on a specific location. The orbit camera will orbit around the animals. And you can choose which animals you want to see. Like here, I'm going from animal 1 to animal 2. They will be at different locations, and based on their locations, they will perform different animations. That it's basically the same with every exhibit animal. They have a limited set of animations, but they're usually really nice and really beautiful to look at. So I highly recommend taking some time with the exhibits. They might look like little simple boxes at first, but they do have quite a lot of power and customization here. You can also decorate it around the exhibit. You can, this blueprint is a proof of what you can do with the exhibits. They look really nice. And this reminds me of something that we should also cover here. The exhibit education board. Because why would you have an exhibit if you're not going to educate your guests on the animal? Let me show you how you can place one. Here, the guests are basically seeing an animal. They are looking at an animal, but they're not learning anything about the animal. To solve that, we go to facilities, and then we go to education board. You can filter the list by education board. And here you can see the exhibit education board. Really nice. This exhibit education board, I highly recommend having position snap on. This will help you to place this exactly in the middle. And you can see how it will automatically snap to the exhibit. You can place one here and place one here. They will automatically be added to the group of that exhibit. Initially, they will be off. They do need some power here. They do need power. They will warn you if they don't have any power, just like the exhibit. But right now we do have power. We just need to choose the educational content. And we're going to educate our guests on eastern blue-tongued lizards. So we choose that one, and you can see how the image here in the education board changes automatically. It's basically an image that is similar to the Zoopedia, so guests will really learn about these animals. You can also replace the image that is assigned automatically with a custom one. You can also use your own images. So basically you have a wide collection of files that you can choose from, but I usually like to use the default ones. I think they are perfect. You can customize their color as well of these exhibits to match the theme of your exhibit. If I click here on this little color editor icon, I can change. Okay, so guests are very interested right now, so let's use the other one instead so you can see the color. I'm going to change this to this recent blue that I use right now, this blue, and I'm going to change this one to purple maybe. I think it looks nice. You can choose the same color that you used for the exhibit. Really nice to create some themed areas. I personally love the exhibits. I do think that they might be expanded, or I wish they would be expanded in Planet Zoo 2 to make them like more dynamic and customizable, maybe modular. But right now with what we have, it is a really nice tool that we can use to customize and to create really nice areas in our zoos. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Now you know how to use the exhibits. I'm going to end this video with a beautiful shot of this animal. You can see that they all have like little animations that are really nice to look at. Like this one over here. It really depends on the animal. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, I really appreciate your likes, and if you want to check out more Planet Zoo tutorials, subscribe to the channel. There you'll find more Planet Zoo videos. So I'll see you in the next video.